I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Yuval Malchi. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm doing great.
It's a great pleasure to connect with you. What part
really doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. I'm really excellent, actually. It's lunchtime here on a Sunday evening in Trinidad and Tobago. Where are you right now?
I'm currently in central Israel.
Oh, sweet. What time is it there now?
It's 6:15 in the evening.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. 6 hours difference. Well, Yuval, please tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
So I'm a podcaster in Israel.
Yeah.
I've been podcasting for about 9 years
Wow.
in total. Yeah, long time.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And that's it. We connected, through LinkedIn, I think. It appears there that one of the things I do is podcasting, and I teach how to podcast, and I produce podcast shows. So that's the gist of it.
Well, that's amazing. Well, tell us about your podcast, please.
So I have one major podcast. It's called A Piece of History. It's mostly in Hebrew, which is one of the languages I speak, Hebrew and English.
Right.
And I looked for something to do with history. I was in high tech, a tech person for a long time, but I love history. I did my master's in international relations and history. And 9 years ago, I found a podcast that I listened to, and I said, hey, I want to do one. And I just picked up a mic and started recording and posted it on a website. And within a couple of days, I received emails, when's the next one coming out? So
Wow.
I said, okay, people like it. And 5 years later, I was receiving really a ton of emails, people asking for more and more podcasts, more and more episodes, actually, we should say. And I decided to quit my job and do this full time.
Wow. How amazing is that? I got to listen to the podcast. Pretty amazing stuff. You were talking about American history on that particular podcast, but it was actually in English though.
Yeah, so about 10% of my episodes are in English.
Wow.
I wish I could translate more. Some of them are interviews and some of them are, history is a story. At the end of it, it's a story, and we need to tell history like it is. It's a story that takes place. It's usually full of suspense. It's full of unknown, and we don't tell the story of, begin with how it ended. We need to tell in the shoes of the people who experienced it, and this is what I do.
So who did you learn this from, Yuval? Who did you learn the ability to share history from those different positions, if you would?
So a couple of people really influenced me with this podcasting. I've had some really, really great teachers over the years who taught history, and I always loved it when they would tell history like a story and not go into the little semantics and theories and, things that are, they were boring, to be honest. So that's definitely one of them. Another guy in Israel who did a podcast, his name is Ron Levy. I think I picked up when he was like on his 4th or 5th episode. And I really liked what he was doing, and I want to do the same thing. And another friend of mine who today is the executive producer of some of the projects that I'm involved in. When I was, thinking about doing a podcast, I said, what am I going to do? I'll do a podcast. And he said, yeah, you're perfect for it. Go for it. So, a few people, each one, they don't even always know that, also it's the same with us. Sometimes you can say something to a person like a good word. We don't say enough good words to people and truly mean it. But, if you say like, I'll say to you, Angel, I listened to some of the interviews before, and I noticed that you have a very soothing, very calming voice, and it's very inviting. Like you really want to talk to someone who has that, tone, very easygoing. And so that's definitely something that happens to all of us. We can say a few good words and they go very far. We don't always know how far they go.
Yeah, totally agree. And I mean, I would love the opportunity to return that, to say that your podcast is amazing as well, right? Like the one I listened to, what was the name of it? 1 second. Let me just pull this back up, because it was really intriguing. Like, it's like you're glued to it. It was Battle of the Wilderness, Desperate Fight on the Orange.
Oh,
Yeah?
the Civil War. Yeah, I have a series on the Civil War.
Yeah,
a
the
few,
American
5
Civil War.
episodes.
Yeah.
Right. And then I have an interview with a soldier who was in Vietnam. Really had a tough time, still carries everything with him. And lately he went back to Vietnam and started building schools.
Wow.
In Vietnam. It's crazy story. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Bringing great value, bringing good responses to what individuals are putting out always goes so far. That being said, Yuval, why will you continue on this journey?
So you're asking why will I continue, or how?
Yeah, why will you?
Why? I think that I'm very lucky. I receive a lot of emails from fans, and since I went on my individual way, became a full-time podcaster, the first one in the country, by the way. So I've been doing a few shows. So I won a few bids, and I'm doing shows for the equivalents of, let's say, in the U.S. it's like PBS and NPR.
Wow.
So 2 major shows that I have are World War II. I did a 30-episode series on World War II, being told as someone would see it from, the current day, the current situation. And another one is History for Children, where I do 15-minute episodes on, usually it's people in history, male and female, which is very important to do, because we often focus a lot on male heroes and not enough on females. And so I'll continue to do it because I feel like I influenced a lot of people.
That's amazing. Well, tell us, my friend, where's the best place for us to connect with everything you're doing and follow your path?
So if you go to Historia, which is like history with IA at the end, .co.il, or look for a podcast called A Piece of History. And you can find there an English section with, I don't know, about 10 or 15 episodes in English. And hopefully one day I'll be able to translate more. It's the only problem we have in life is time. We need to really manage our time, because otherwise we play too many games on our phone, or we watch too much TV, or we work too many hours and neglect our family. So today we have to manage our time. We have to say, beginning of the day, what do I want to accomplish today? How many hours I want to spend with the family, and really set some kind of a working timeline for us for each day. So we have to be very focused. I think this is a key.
I agree. Well, tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Yeah. So I've been, how do I get into it? Okay, I'll tell it very short. Like,
Sure.
8 years ago, my son was diagnosed with cancer. And he came out of it. We had to go abroad for treatment, and surgery was a very difficult time. But during that time, we were in a hospital, with very, very different people. Some of them were immigrants from other countries. Some of them were religious. Some of them are not. Some of them are Jews. Some of them were Arabs. I mean, from all walks of life. You can think about, like, I don't know, Tower of Babel or something. And you notice that when you're in a different situation and you're not into politics and all, all kind of opinions about people, you realize that people are all the same. And at night when the kids were asleep, we all had the same prayers. And it was hell, but it was also a little piece of heaven, where you found, you judge people based on who they are, and not on anything, any prejudice. So when we came out of it took me some time, but I became a medical clown, and I volunteer with a few organizations, and work with children, when time permits, that suffer usually from, all kind of diseases, oncology department and all. So that's something else that I've been doing.
How does that make you feel, Yuval?
It makes me feel, very, very proud, I guess, of having the time and proud of my family that loves to see me do that. Yeah, I mean, it's very lucky, very very lucky.
Why would you suggest someone do something like that where you're giving back to those that are in a less fortunate situation?
So I've been volunteering for many years, and I've always found that whenever you volunteer, doesn't matter what you give, you always get much more than what you give. With podcasting, it's been the same, for 5 years, or you can say for 9 years, I've been doing this without, everybody asks me, what's your financial model? And I always say, well, it doesn't have a financial model. It's a podcast. I love history. I want to share it with people, but people don't understand. They don't understand how can you do something without a financial model. And I think that's one of the key things in life. You have to do things that they don't necessarily bring in profit in terms of money, but they bring in profit to your soul.
Love that. Love that. Ooh, love that. Amazing audience. We are live with Yuval Malchi again. You can connect with his podcast in two places. You could do historia.co.il, or you can check out A Place of History. Amazing conversation. Amazing stories being told there. Yuval, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Yuval, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My father had a very old Jeep, and I think I was 4 years old, and I can still remember the smell of that Jeep.
Oh, really? Why do you think this memory is so clear? And how do you see that connecting to who you are now?
I think, when you're a little kid and your father comes home late at night, you develop some kind of a sense for it. You smell the car, you smell the Jeep coming home. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I love going on rides with him also. So
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I remember the scent of my father's bag. Like his bag, like he would have these pills in his bag, like vitamins and stuff. And I do like you just expressing that brings me back. Like it had a distinct scent. Even he himself had a scent. Like yeah, that's amazing. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
I'd love to hear.
I love the idea of the value you put on the small things, the things that could go unheard or just unnoticed, but yet the things that really create value. And I guess that's where the aspect of his story comes from, right? His story, history, and you being the person who is now archiving this in a way that individuals can get it, understanding that the small elements are really what make the history. You said it to the beginning, you said not telling it from one perspective, but attempting to get all of the perspectives. I love how that connects.
Yeah, thanks. It's really important that we as human beings realize that at the end we're all people and we all have feelings and we have to treat each other with respect. And I think history helps us understand that.
If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
I think it was like a Virgin, Madonna.
All right. All right, my friend. Well, hey, we've reached our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We are going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Yuval?
Sure, go.
Yuval, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I have.
Are you married?
I'm married.
Do you have children?
4.
Boys and girls?
2 and 2.
Wow. Do you believe in God?
I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I have a very good inner circle of friends, yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I watch TV, I think, about 3 hours a week.
All right. And what about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
About 8 hours a day.
If you, Yuval, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
I would say that sometimes you have to follow what you love to do, and that will take you places.
Love it. Yuval Malchi, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I think that, it's great that you have this unique show, and I just want to really thank you for letting me tell, a little piece of my story.
I love the opportunity as one Ghanaian or one friend from Ghana. I'm not sure if it's Ghanaian they say, right? But one friend from Ghana says, "A pleasure I treasure." Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to preserve your history, or this small snippet of it. Yuval Malchi, thank you for being on What is Inspired By 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mounting pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.